Mobile Industry Review, Mobile Developer TV.
All right, so let me show you. I'm going to show you our account interface as well as some of the reports for both mobile web and apps. So in our account interface, you can have multiple sites, multiple apps within your account, and you can allow multiple users to have access to the reports and specify who can see which app or which site's data. So this is really helpful when we do white labeling with platform providers. They can see the stats across their network, and then each individual publisher or developer just sees their individual stats. So this is a dashboard view of one of the mobile websites we're tracking. It's a site called Towser, and it's a mobile portal with a directory list of mobile-specific sites as well as a search capability. And so in the dashboard, you get high-level information around the page views, average time, bounce rate, the high-level information right here. You can see what refers, where people are coming from, as well as the top country. So I mentioned the heavy international usage before. This is a good example. This site gets almost 70% of the traffic is international. The other eye-opener that some people find interesting is the non-mobile usage of a mobile site. Now this site, I'm going to show you, gets fairly heavy non-mobile usage because it's a test site and we hit it with PCs, but you will see PC traffic as well as non-mobile operators mixed in. So any one of these things you can drill down further into, and you can even change the date ranges. There's some pre-canned date ranges, pre-selected ones, as well as completely free form to see whatever you like. So I pulled some of the pages up earlier. You can go into the top countries to see where people are coming from. If we go into the devices, we can pull up device specs. So this is where one of the things we talk about improving the product is if you know what the specs are in the device, maybe tweak the design of the site itself. One of our interesting reports here is the top pages. So it's one thing to say, what are the top pages in your site, and what are people spending the most time on or accessing the most? But what's a little bit more interesting is if we select a page, we can do the funnel analysis and see the page navigation. So from the home page, where do people go next, or where did they come from before? And you follow this path to monitor conversions, drop-off and flows, level of engagement. Perhaps this is your ad landing page. It's one thing for the ad network to say they sent 1,000 people to you. Did they just come and go, or were they deeply engaged in the site? And we can keep following the paths that way. Or maybe it's a sign-up process, and you only have a low conversion. You want to know why that is. Maybe you can see where people are falling off on what page and tweak that page. Since this is a mobile website, we have the concept of refers. What did someone type into Yahoo or Google to get to your site? Or what other sites sent people over here? So I can see some of the keywords. I can see the different sites they came from. Now this next thing isn't for the faint of heart. We have internal search tracking. So if the site has a search engine, and I mentioned this one does, what are people searching on within the site? This isn't what they search on in Google to get to you, but what they search on within. And this one isn't for the faint of heart. There's a decent amount of porn stuff, but this is what someone's searching for within the site. So get off of that one real quick. So the other thing we do, I mentioned, is tracking applications. So where that was mobile web, this is applications. Very similar interface. It's all, it's actually through the same interface. The layout's similar. There's a couple key differences. With mobile web, we're talking about tracking page views, and on applications it's much more granular. It's events and actions, and the closest thing to a page view would be this concept of screens that we provide. You could say, they're on the login screen, they're on the search screen, whatever it is, it's up to the developer and publisher to define those. The second thing that's different is where in mobile web it's hard to identify a unique user. Applications, it's really easy because you have a device ID, so you can do different reports around who the users are. So this is the high-level view. As I mentioned, any of the things you can drill down deeper into. So if we drill down deeper into users, you can see what the session time is for individual users. And if you're making use of our demographic methods to pass in a username, you can see the individual username, who is spending more time, or how often they used your app. I mentioned the concept of screens. Instead of page views, you can treat things as screens within the app. So if you pick the screen here, we can see just the actions associated with that screen. The thing that's interesting here with applications, with the search, is we have this whole concept of a search session. On mobile web, we were able to break out what someone was searching on within your site. Now, if your app has a search engine within it too, you can track not only what they searched on, but then what did they do next. So there's someone that searched for sushi here. What was the next? What did they end up doing after that? So they selected these different restaurants, or they went on from sushi. Someone decided they'd rather go to steak, I guess. But you can see that flow, and this is another one of these tools you can use to improve the product offering, to see how that search is being performed. How can you tweak that experience to improve it, or maybe you want to do paid search or paid ads. You can see what people are clicking on. This can help with that, whether you go to those companies for advertising, or if you already were using them with advertising, you could generate the report for them so they can see how effective it was. So that's a high-level view of this. If you have multiple apps, you can select between them. If you have multiple sites, you can select between them too. And it's all in a pretty easy-to-use interface.
Mobile Industry Review, Mobile Developer TV.